This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. U.S. Church caught pushing creationist curriculum in public schools. A new film has exposed shocking and blatant evangelism inflicted on school and children in Brigham after an American church group was repeatedly invited to visit state schools in the area in response to mental health tragedies. Most of these schools did not have a religious character. Pupils were taught creationism as fact, and LGBTQ plus people were made to feel discriminated against due to the visitors' claim that same-sex marriage is wrong. Wells Humanists, which campaigns for the end of religious proselytizing in state school system, said it was appalled by the evidence presented in the film. From 2008 to 2018, following a number of young people taking their lives in the town, local Brigham Church teamed up with American evangelists from Louisiana to form the Bridgend Louisiana Partnership. The partnership saw First West Church send teams of visitors to over 20 schools in Brigham, essentially as a form of cultural exchange. The visit involved music and dancing, as well as weightlifting demonstrations and tricks. However, at the end of each visit, the pupils were led and coerced into American-style prayer and worship rituals. The visit stopped due to the pandemic, but according to the film, they are due to restart in 2024. The film produced by the News Movement includes testimony from two former pupils who are LGBTQ+. They explained that it was very clear the visitors were setting out to convert the children to Christianity and that they were made to feel marginalized and discriminated against due to their sexual identities. First of all, if I have this going on in my country, this whole mental health issues that they were wanting to address, why on God's green earth would I invite a church group in to come fix it? This is a mental health issue, not a religious issue. I would bring in therapists. I would bring in professional trained people to deal with these issues. A church group is not the first one I would call to come in and deal with something like this. And secondly, if this is a country that, they don't want this type of behavior to go on in their country, then why on God's green earth would this even be allowed in the public school system? Something broke down somewhere that allowed this to happen. And, the church from Louisiana, come on, give me a break. Let's call it what it is. A new form of colonialism, and let's convert people to believe the way we believe, despite the way you hold your values and traditions and your belief. We want you to believe the way we do, because you know what? That's the American way, and the American way is just not always the right way. Right, and the old European way also. The gold, glory, and God. When during colonization, that's what the Spanish Empire was. They were doing it for gold, glory, and God, which means in God's name, we'll devastate people and take their gold, take their natural resources, and then convert them to our religion, because it's easier to control them if we can control even what they think and believe. And so that's what missionary work was. That's what colonization was, and that is still going on, and these other ways. So if they can control the curricula, if they can control how you dress, if they can control what name you go by, if they can control how you identify, this is just gold, glory, and God again. This is just, here's the Bible in one hand and sword in the other. Which one are you going to have? If you don't take the Bible, you've opted for the sword. It's that same sort of thing. And I also hate this idea, I hate the idea that we have validated creationism as a thing. It's not a thing. It's not a science. It's not even a proper theory. You know what I mean? And so, so if you're teaching creationism, you are teaching a religious belief. You are because science is evidence-based. And the whole thing about a theory is that you start with a hypothesis. Hypothesis is a guess, but it's a guess based on some evidence. And then you try to disprove your hypothesis. And if you can't disprove it, it becomes a theory. And then your peers can test that theory over and over and again. And if they keep coming up with the same or similar results, you've got a sound theory. If they can disprove it, well, now you've got a conversation. And that's what science is. And science, because of that, sometimes the thing that was a scientific fact becomes passé because we've learned something else, because we didn't stop looking. Right. And so we've grown, we've changed our mind about stuff. That's not what creationism is. Creationism is saying they have the answer. Right. It's not evidence-based and it's not investigative. So that makes it religion. Now you're entitled to have that religious view, but that it is taught
any public school in the United States as being somehow equal to, well, because, evolution is just a theory. No. Evolution is the theory the way gravity is the theory. That we have come up with no better explanation. We've looked and looked and looked, and this has withstood the test of time and peer review. And one day maybe we will find that it works even better or more differently or than we realized. And then we'll have a new theory. But theory is as close as you can come to fact once it becomes a scientific theory. And so, yeah, your opinion is not a theory. Your religious belief is not a theory. And so, yes, in school we get to teach theories, social scientific, mathematical. Yes, we get to teach theories. But your belief that a God you can't prove exists, made things in a way that you can't prove, that's not a theory. You're entitled to it, and you can teach it all day long in your Sunday school. But that does not belong in tax-supported public schools. It's not a theory, it's not science, and it doesn't make anyone's life better. I get excited.
Next up, we are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our Global Fellowship. In 2024, we'll be going to where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Space is extremely limited, so make sure you go to happeningout.travel/sunshine to reserve your space now.
Would you like to join the Queer God Squad on a special winter cruise in 2024? Well, now you can. You will visit Cozumel, Mexico, Grand Cayman, and Ocho Rios, and you can even add an open bar and Wi-Fi. Join us by going to happeningout.travel/sunshine.